there is no perfect day, right? We do have the perfect day exercise. That's a whole different concept to really pull out what it is to create filters of what we're striving towards. But it's really about the ideal week, okay? And it goes right things, right order into the ideal week. How do you start to lay this out? And the first thing is, I am willing to create the life I desire. And that's where it has to start. Do I have the desire to understand that I live in a creative world and I get to design the way that I want it to be? Or do I live in a reported world and that's just the way it is, right? Like that's the Debbie Downer and the black cloud, and like I can't like even understand those type of people. So we live in just such a creative space. Just make and understand that you have to have the desire and the will to create what it is that you want. So here's where the 168 comes in, right into the ideal week. So the 168 is 168 hours that we all have, right? Monday to Sunday, 7 days, 24 hours. It's 168 hours. For math simplicity's sake, when you back out sleep, maintenance, I just want you to say 68 hours is going to that. You have 100 hours left. You can make the argument you got 110, 120, so be it. Prioritize sleep. I can tell you that. The older I get, I know how important sleep is. So let's just say you have 100 hours. The perfect balance is 50 hours to work, 50 hours on relationships and health, right? All the other activities, the other two big equity buckets. And you can say, well, what about faith? To me, that's relationships, right? Your faith is a part of the relationship that you have with yourself, the relationship you have with your faith, the relationship you have with others. That falls into, if I want to put, where does that go? That goes into the relationship bucket. So 50-50, just for simplicity's sake, okay? And the rule of thumb on the working side is 70% of that working time on those high leveraged activities, right? The things that actually move the needle in your business. But most people, it's the other way around, right? And we'll get into that in just a second, but I want you to get your head around week over week over week. And the reason that you look at it, and we call it Sunday planning, the reason that you look at the Sunday planning is because every week is different. There is no 2 weeks that are the same. Every week, and especially as you add more complexity with spouses, with kids, with parents, aging parents, like every week's different. Like this week, we had Memorial Day, right? Got vacations for people, most people. You've got stuff happening. You got going here. You got kids getting out of school, right? So things are always different. That's why you got to look at it week over week over week. And what we do and need to understand is that we need the time for our high lifetime value activities. Right things, right order. What goes in the calendar first? High lifetime, the top of the pyramid. Activities go in the calendar first. And this is the biggest mistake I see because most people put the business activities in the calendar first. And they're just like not making time for the big rocks. Like the high lifetime value activities are big rocks. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. These relationships are the essential to your success. These go in first. Right things, right order. What goes in my calendar first? These activities, okay? And remember, work expands to the time allotted. Parkinson's law. Hey, we need to have a meeting. Okay, great. How much time do we need? Oh, I think we can do it in 30 minutes. Okay, well, what would happen if we had to do it in 15? Okay, we can do it in 15. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Work expands to the time allowed. So you want to fill the other things so you can keep the work as allotted, only the amount that you need required for you to achieve that desired outcome that you're wanting. No less, no more, because time will expand to it. And so it's the whole right work contracts based on the boundaries we defined. Choose a firm end of your work day and work week. When does it start? When does it stop? That comes in second. First, remember, are those high lifetime value activities. Second is going to be that 70% of that moves the needle in our business. And listen, we have more control than what we think. Even if you don't control, even if you're a team member, even if you're like administrative, a support role, right? Even if you're drawing a paycheck, you still have control over that time. Even if you don't have 100% control, we get to choose how we maximize the things that we do control. And the biggest thing with the calendar, man, it's always a work in progress. Like I've been obsessed with my calendar, like obsessed with my calendar for the better part of the last 30 years. And I can promise you, Joel, it is a continuous work in progress. Yeah. Always evolving. Always like, hey, I mean, I used to allocate an hour. Man, can I do that in 30 minutes? Right? Hey, can I just erase a meeting and do it in a voice memo? Can that be solved? Right? Can I voice a message for the next 4 minutes that would replace a 30-minute meeting? Right. So it's just always about progress.
Yeah, I love it. I think as you're talking through this, one of the things that that I think you do better than probably anybody that I know personally when it comes to the calendar is you've trained yourself or developed the skill or the mindset to have the things that don't have instant consequences. You treat them just as important as the things that do. So what I mean by that, it's one of the ironies of success is that most of the most important things that we have to do, there's not any instant consequences if we don't do them. Like if you skip date night this week, you're not instantly getting divorced. But if you skip date night for the next 2 years, you might end up there. If you don't do your prospecting today, there's no instant ramifications for that, right? Whereas things like, oh, you skip a meeting with a client, there's instant results. You lose that client. If you don't show up for work, there's instant results. So it's easy to do the things that we have to do when we look at that there's instant like downside if we don't do those. And so you've disciplined yourself to look at the things that don't have immediate consequences as just as important as the ones that do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 1,000%, man. That's so spot on with what you're saying. And it's just, most of life is not instant gratification, right? It's such a delayed gratification in everything that we do, right? That's why we always, I know this to be true. Anything worth building takes time, and it takes decades, not years. And you can fast forward, but you're going to skip steps, and skipping steps only presents the illusion of speed. Yeah. Anything that you skip will come back and get you. And most of the time it's because you're not learning the lessons along the way that, you need to learn for sustainability. And so you can go fast, but it's probably going to crumble just as fast, if not faster.
We used to say, when we had our brokerage, our average sale price was like 200,000. So that'll put this in context. But we used to say you need to treat your morning prospecting time like it's $1 million listing appointment. Mm-hmm. Like what would have to happen in your life for you to skip a $1 million listing appointment, 5 times your average price, right? Like something major, catastrophic would have to happen for you to skip that listing appointment and just do something else, right? And so, treating your prospecting time like it's $1 million listing appointment, treating date night like it's the $1 million listing appointment, or it's the, treating your date night like it's the night before your wedding or something like that. Like cultivating that mindset of this really is how big the stakes are for these things.
Yeah.
They just don't show up right away, like you said.
So good. So good. So those high lifetime value activities, right? First thing in the calendar, right things, right order, first thing in. These are the, non-negotiables. These go in first, period. Block out when work starts, when it stops. Okay. So that gives you the framework. So if you're going to work 50 hours, what days, hours, how does that allocate, right? We're not filling in the hour time yet. We are just giving ourselves the parameters and the guidelines of when we're going to work. And you're like, hey, John, I'm only working 10 hours this week. Great. Block the 10 hours. Guess what? In those 10 hours, 70%. So 7 hours are going to be on high dollar value activities. So just so you know, but when does it start? When does it stop? Family time, right? Family dinner. What are we doing? What's your workout schedule? Okay. Like not just go to the gym, but what are you doing at the gym? Level of detail, right? Details matter. And this is what drives me bonkers, right? Is people not paying attention to the details.